What's good, everybody? We are back. It is your boy Jarod and your girl Gabby, episode 65 of the Kicks and Shit Show. Bam, 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 bam.
Wow.
Yep.
There's some mixed tonality in that one, Jarod. I feel like you've been practicing since last week.
I mean, I might have. That might have happened. Gabby, what is happening in those streets?
Football is back, baby.
I'm like football. Like this girl's got on a Bears jersey. I'm like,
That's right. Duh, motherfucking Bears.
Duh, Bears. If there was a hurricane and the hurricane's name was Dicka, who and Dicka, who would win?
Roll the tape.
Dicka.
Always. Very happy football's back. It feels like it's way too soon, too early. Delta's in full force.
I see what you did there, Delta Force. I see what you did there. I'm on to your pun game.
Oh, thank you. But yeah, I mean, it's sweaty in these summer streets. You know, everybody always is quick to say summer's already over, and
I mean,
I'm like,
I know it's not. Yes, it announced your birthday, but Gabby, let's keep it 100. Keep it a buck. Yes, we know the rest of us, those of us who celebrate your birthday, yes, but for the majority of the world, summer's over.
It's the Leos that are controlling that narrative. They're like, as soon as our birthday is done, nobody cares about anybody else except for us. So sorry, Leo season.
Lion season's over. You're right.
Yeah, we out. I support the Bears, not the Lions.
We see what you did there. Virgo, but so it's Virgo season then, in other words.
Almost, yeah. I've got that big Virgo energy. You know what I mean? I'm excited.
So what are the birthday festivities? What will be happening?
Well, speaking of Delta, I will be heading to Florida for a long weekend for my birthday. Fully vaxxed.
Well, yes, I know you are, and your tribe
my squad is fully vaxxed.
But you and your squad are going into like the heart of Delta. Are you guys gonna like stay away from those psychos down there?
I feel like Dolly Parton should do a cover of that, like in the heart of Delta. You know what I mean?
Stay away from those psychos down there. You don't know.
Stay away from the psychos down there anyway. That's a good rule of thumb, no matter where you travel to. True. You know, I don't know. The numbers are down this week, so I'm feeling a little bit more optimistic. And there's a lot of outside time. So at the end of the day, you know, mask up when you gotta.
When you gotta be indoors.
Flask up when you gotta.
Mask up.
Said nobody ever.
Mask up and flask up. I mean.
Yeah. Is that the new Vax and Wax? Like, put it on the t-shirt. You heard it here first.
Could be. Here's the thing, though. I think if you flask up, your likelihood of keeping your mask up probably going to go down, right? So as your flask up time increases, I bet your mask up time decreases. I bet there's
they need one of those like camelbacks that have the straw that's built into the mask.
Right,
so I'm ready at all times. Yep, I'm gonna look like Bane walking through the streets of Fort Lauderdale, but you know, your girl is ready.
Fort Lauderdale, you're gonna be heading to the International Swimming Hall of Fame while you're down there, perhaps?
I think we're gonna be too lotty for the party. You know what I mean? Lottie-dottie,
the beaches in Fort Lauderdale are quite nice.
It's nice. It's more chill than Miami, which I like that about it. You know, it's basically like New Jersey South with less Air Force Ones at the beach because, for the record, I know we've talked about this before, but the people who wear Air Force Ones at the beach are from Staten Island, not from New Jersey, friends. So...
Well, listen, we have discussed this before. You know my feelings about sneakers on the beach. We ain't going to go into that. Let's not do that, people.
Nope.
So you mentioned football. I think it's an interesting, not segue, but stay on the topic. So Adidas announced, obviously, coming up here, not out now, Patrick Mahomes will have his debut trainers being released. And I have thoughts not about the sneak. I mean, we can get into that, but more broader thoughts about football players being the front men for sneakers. I feel like, and it's not just my feelings, I feel like the history has shown us, they don't do as well as our basketball friends fronting sneakers.
I agree. I think there's a performance element that's lacking, right? Like, I'm not out in the streets in my football cleats, you know? Like, just, it is what it is. Like, there's a lot of cool customs. I think that's where sneaker culture really thrives, especially now that the My Cause, My Cleats initiative every December has gotten as big as it has. I'm here for that. I love seeing what everyone's rocking, what charities it goes to. So I love that aspect of it. And I know you see a lot for breast cancer awareness as well. But, you know, it just doesn't translate because you're not performing in that silhouette. So if anything, there's an opposite effect, right? Like I always love seeing what Jordan Brand is doing and transitioning their classic silhouettes into a performance silhouette into cleats, right? I'm like, oh, they've got like the Toro Bravo 4 cleats, like that's fire, or things like that. That to me is the biggest thing about football, but I agree. It'll be interesting to see. I think Adidas has gotten a bit more experimental in their performance and athlete silhouettes, that this is a good test.
Yeah, and for Mahomes, just to be clear for folks listening, his is not an actual cleat. It's a trainer, right? So like if you're, I don't know, running or doing CrossFit or whatever the hell, you could wear the Mahomes. I think it has to do with really like the athlete themselves, right? And I think, it's really how the NFL is structured versus how the NBA is structured, right? The NBA allows its stars to be stars and be individuals. NFL really frowns upon that, right? I mean, all of us in the know always joke NFL stands for No Fun League, right? Like, anytime anybody wants to have a little fun, we legislate the fun out of the game, right? And it's more about conformity and everybody is a team and blah, 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 and all that jazz. And a guy like Mahomes, I think, he is such a transcendent type of player, he could move beyond that if we're allowed to see more of his personality. Because I think that's why basketball players, NBA guys, tend to resonate more, because even though you don't know them, you feel like you know them, right? Because of the way in which they're allowed to interact in their sport.
I agree. And I think that's across the board, right? Like I always talk about like NBA on TNT, like how much fun they have. You don't have the same level of fun. And don't get me wrong, I love football, but you're not getting that same level of fun. There's a level of seriousness to it. Even like from the sidelines, from the reporting, all of it, that kind of really ties it up to one big package. And I think that's true even in terms of like the advertising. You don't get to see as much personality. I mean, you see the occasional Eli Manning commercial, which I am always here for, acting dopey and goofy. But for the most part, it's like, let me give a high five in a commercial, or kiss some babies, shake some hands, and like, what Aaron Rodgers has done, I think, from like an overall commercial standpoint, even like the State Farm stuff, like his commercials are usually have a little bit more serious even than some of like the stuff we're seeing with Chris Paul and James Harden, right? Like it transcends beyond just what's happening on the court or on the field.
No, you're right there. And I think, like, again, if it's going to be anybody, the interesting thing is like the quarterback's going to be the one to do it. I feel like just because of the nature of the position and them having the ball all the time, because look, you even got a guy like Odell Beckham Jr. who all the kids know, but like, he doesn't even have a shoe that like, he's got his custom cleats and all that. But like, could he even move merchandise like that? And now being out of New York, it's probably way more challenging, right? If he's in Cleveland. It's just, I think again, it's an interesting thought process around the nature of the sports, right? Who is a quote unquote a star and who isn't a star, right? I mean, you look at social media profiles too, right? The average NBA player has way more followers on social media than the average football player. It's not even close. And part of that is because of the nature of the games, right? Basketball players don't wear helmets. We see them. There's only, 5 on the court at one time, 15 on a team. I mean, there's 53 guys on an NFL team. You don't know half the people on your favorite team, you don't know who they are, right? Just because you're like, I don't know who that fourth string offensive lineman is, right? I think that's just, interesting. Anyway, I thought it was interesting. Good luck to Mr. Patrick Mahomes. Hope that all works out well for him.
Yeah, I'm excited to see it. I mean, I think Nike did a really great job when they had the Cruise Air trainers a few years back. Like, I have a couple pairs of those in my collection that I should probably dust off one of these days. I think it was an interesting silhouette, and he's been someone who's kind of shifted into that influencer role and personality off the field, as almost like a fashion and tastemaker, right? Like who he hangs out with, what he dresses.
He's a salsa dancer for crying out loud.
Right, and I think some of that, to your point, Rod, like lends itself to him being a product of the New York market. Where if he was in another city in maybe the middle of the country, like maybe wouldn't have had the same exposure off the field, right, in the way that he did. And I think Victor Cruz did a beautiful job. Nike did a great job with those sneakers. I thought they were very different, and they were more from the fashion lens instead of a trainer. So I don't know. I'm excited to see what happens.
Yeah, folks, we're going to have Hugh drop in some photos right here of the Patrick Mahomes trainer. Let us know what you think in the comments about this shoe. If you like it, it's a copper drop, and we'll do a copper drop on that. Yay or nay. Lime green's a color that they're in right now. They look nice. Let me just say that. They do look nice. My question was more, again, as I said, do we think Patrick Mahomes can push it where it's like, all right, a bunch of people are going to go out and start getting the trainers? Maybe. We shall see. But, folks, stay tuned, because coming up next, we have a fellow digital content creator. Gabby was fortunate enough to be on his show most recently. And we're going to get into all the ins and outs of the sneaker game. what's he doing with content these days, how he is championing the ladies, all that and more. So stay tuned. What's good, everybody? We are back. Gabby, we are not alone. We are joined by digital content creator, sneakerhead, the Heartbreak Kidd. What's good?
Yo, what's up, guys? Thank you for having me here. I really appreciate it.
Listen, we appreciate having you on. So I got to get into it right away. You must be a WWE wrestling fan, because who else would name themselves the Heartbreak Kidd? Like, I don't know, unless you really out here breaking these ladies' hearts.
It's a little bit of both and both. Yep, I was always a Shawn Michaels fan, so that is part of it. And when I was young, I was around.
I was around. You were out here talking to these shorties, and you were talking slick. Your game was tight, huh?
I blame Shawn Michaels.
It's funny about wrestling, right? Like, I mean, I don't watch it now, but back in the day, man, like. And I go all the way back to like British Bulldog, like way back, like 80s when it was WWF, like not WWE. And then of course like guys like The Rock and like, you know, just like that to me was like when it was at its peak. I mean, I don't know what it's like now, but
yeah, me either. It's too crazy now. It's too crazy.
I don't even know. It's like a million different belts. I'm like only the SmackDown people, Raw. I'm like, okay, I have no idea what's happening in this made up thing.
Yeah.
But you know, it did provide some entertainment for a while. But anyway, man, we're happy to have you on. We're going to start where we start with everybody. When did you fall in love with sneakers?
Oh, man. It was definitely, of course, in the 90s, I think, like everybody else, but we all just couldn't afford it or whatever. I once got my hands on a pair of used Jordan 4s.
What?
And that's what really got me into it, like the whole 4 silhouette. So I'm still a big 4s fan now, but definitely the Jordan 4s, even though they're not the most comfortable. Not the most comfortable.
I like them though. They're not the least comfortable either.
That's fair.
They're not.
That's fair. I see. So the Jordan 4s got you into it. Huh? So we talked about wrestling, obviously. Were you a huge basketball fan growing up? What was your sport sort of fandom like? And did you notice the players in their shoes back then?
Not really, but yeah, I definitely did watch basketball. Of course, Jordan era. Course. I also was a big football fan too. Okay. Minnesota Vikings, of course.
Oh, like that Dante Culpepper, Randy Moss. You were down with that? Chris Carter, yeah.
Purple people eaters. Those are the days.
Look at that, man. See, look at that. Look at little Vikings. So, well, we are talking footballs on here. Gabby, of course, wearing the Vikings, one of their arch nemesis jerseys on the show right now.
Yes, I saw it. I was trying not to say nothing.
It's okay. Say something. That's all right. I can handle it.
It's bad enough the first preseason game ain't going our favor. It's bad enough.
Yeah, see? Come on, man. No, but, you know, it's interesting, right? Because for so many of us, that was the introduction into all this, right? Was sports, right? You saw your favorite athletes. You're like, oh, and then the commercials, right? And the 90s was that sort of, like, perfect time, right? It was when the globalization was really taking off, marketability, up professional. It was like the perfect storm, right? And Jordan was that perfect athlete in that way. And of course, you had the other great players of that time in other sports, Ken Griffey Jr. in baseball, right? Like all these like sort of like transcendent figures of the 90s era where you were like, man, these are them dudes, right? Do you feel like now we're just so used to that you don't really see that, or do you see there is someone who's still sort of carrying that moniker as like, oh no, that's the guy or that's the gal who's doing this?
I mean, the only person I could think of right now is LeBron for right now, you know, especially with the Miamis that just came out. But yeah, that's about it. I mean, of course, there was, you know, the late great Kobe. But right now, I guess it'll just be LeBron's, unless you know Jordan keep changing the colorways.
Which you know they will.
It's the same shoe, but we go crazy.
I mean, you know, it's funny you mentioned that. Let's go there and sort of talk about like that piece of it. I mean, do you still get hyped off releases, or are you just kind of like, oh, here we go again, another Jordan 1? This time it's in fuchsia. Like we're
It's hard to ignore it. I be trying so bad. You get that feeling like, let me just enter the draw, and then you just turn your phone on because you know you're not gonna hit. But I've been right now. I'm in a hunting mode for non-US shoes right now, non-released in the US. So later on, I'll show you guys some exclusives.
Oh, I love the sound of that. It's funny that you mentioned that because that's one of my favorite things, Gabby, is like when I mean, not now because of, COVID, but when I travel internationally, I love going to certain stores just because I know, you might, let's say, and this is not sneakers, but let's say, for example, it's, I don't know, a Burberry store, right? Okay, a Burberry trench is a Burberry trench, right? Regardless. But in, let's say, the Burberry store in Paris, there may be styles they release there of a trench that, you're not going to find this in the U.S. store. This is only here. Is that something that I think that, like, you'll see more and more sneakerheads and collectors going into? The stuff that's not widely available here.
Yeah, that's why I aim for it. Because to me, shoes supposed to display a person's personality, and everybody's personality should be different. So even if I do buy a common shoe of a one of something like that, which I also show you guys later, I add a twist to it. So even if I do go out somewhere and they have that same one, it's not that same one.
I feel you.
I like that, though. And I think, the people who've been in the game a long time, and I'd love to know your thoughts on this one, we're seeing a lot more of them, instead of being like the clout chasers, right? Like, we enter because it's what like we're supposed to do and we're so used to doing for so many years. Like, I'm going to make a play for the Fragment Travis Scott lows. I'm not going to win them, but I'm going to do it. Like, it's an honor to be nominated, to feel like I'm part of it. But, like, I'm building a collection around royal blue sneakers right now, right? So I'm, like, going back to things on my list. Things that are a little bit unique, maybe less hype, but, like, to your point, stuff that's more personality. Do you find that the true sneakerheads are kind of migrating away from the hype and just kind of leaving that up to the hype beast and kind of building things a little bit differently on their own?
I mean, I definitely am. I mean, I'm not going to lie. I definitely was caught up in the hype. It's hard not to.
It's hard not to be.
It's so hard, especially when you go on Instagram or something like that, and you keep seeing the same shoe over and over, and you start thinking like, you know what? Maybe it's not that ugly.
You're like, all right, she cute. All right.
You know what?
Like the 50 dunks this weekend. I was like, you know what? It don't look that bad.
That's how they get you, right?
Mm-hmm.
No, I think I love that, right? Like, so you said you try to find things that aren't out here in the U.S. Gabby, you're building around royal blues. As you know, in the summers, I first of all, I love lows, just generally speaking anyway. And I like classic, like Stan Smiths and Puma low suedes. So my thing is like, I just like collecting a bunch of stuff that are like that and have collaborations that mean something to me. And Gabby, I put these out on our Twitter for the other day. The Kermit Miss Piggy thing is just fascinating to me. Like, even as a kid, I remember being like, yo, why this pig sweating this frog so damn hard? Like, and Piggy wildin'. Like, she was, hyper aggressive. So I remember I saw the Kermit Piggy Stan Smiths. I'm like, yo, these are fire, right? Because it's just something that I enjoy, right? So I think if we always tap into it. You don't need to necessarily chase whatever the hot thing is. Find something that speaks to you, and you'll find interesting things out there. What's the craziest journey you went on to find a shoe internationally?
Oh man, I want to say, I mean, nothing too crazy. I mean, mostly you have no choice but to buy things online, due to the pandemic. You can only go but so far. But I definitely did travel once to try to enter a raffle for a shoe. Didn't get it, but hey, it's the experience, right? It's the experience.
I love it. He said, "I'm gonna travel to enter a raffle." I didn't even know I'm not gonna get in the raffle, but I'm gonna make the trip out there.
I tried many things, changing my Nike account regional. I tried a lot of things, it's foolproof. They definitely was prepared.
Unless you got bot technology, right? That's the only thing that's gonna really help you out on that. We talk about bots a lot on this show. I mean, I imagine you're like everybody else. How do you feel about the bot game and the people that do that?
It's crazy. It's crazy. To me, it definitely do destroy the culture. Because it's almost like we have no choice but to lean into resale now. Because retail is so hard. Like, it's so hard to get some white Air Force Ones. Like, what is going on here? Wow. But I'm really not a big fan of it. It kills it. To me, it's just like Dragon Ball Z. You know what I'm saying? They all on a hunt for the Dragon Balls for the ultimate reward. You don't really admire something until you put the work into it to get it. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. If you get everything as a child, spoon-fed, you'll never appreciate things. But when you really work to get a sneaker and you finally get it, I mean, that's your baby right there. Like, you don't want to get it dirty. You'll take the long way to go around to the street.
or you won't pack them with you in Chicago to go to All Star? Definitely not. Not in that snowy weather. I'm not.
Rob, we gotta get you some waterproof kits, all right? We gotta use some waterproof kits.
Yeah. I definitely lost a friend over that before. They invited me to like I guess it was a little concert thing or whatever, and it was like in a grassy area. I had white shoes on. I had white shoes on. They could at least told me the terrain.
Exactly.
You know?
So I'd put the appropriate sneakers on for that occasion.
It's like all those videos that came from Rolling Loud.
Oh, you seen that? Oh my God.
That was painful. In Miami, and I was like, I want to be nowhere near that. My like heart hurt for all the Jordans and the Rejuvenators that
The anxiety was wild when I saw that video.
That's the real Heartbreak Kidd right there.
Yes.
Yeah.
So when did you decide that you wanted to, beyond being a consumer in the culture of sneakers, when did you decide, now I want to do more? I want to connect and create content for people. I want to build things. When did that sort of, that moment happen for you?
Let me see. It was probably like a solid good 2 years ago. Always been collecting and everything. But what I noticed was maybe I wasn't paying attention to it, but I really didn't see that many women rocking like Jordans and stuff like that. It could have been happening. It was just over my head. But then like, it's just 2 years I started seeing that. And I was like, wow, like she make that shoe look good. I never would have thought to buy that shoe, but her whole fit with the shoe looked good. So I started looking into it more on Instagram, and I started seeing like, there's a lot of women that do it better than the men out here, collecting wise, dressing wise. They're more versatile. They have more options. They buy more colorful shoes. They could go women, grade school. So, their collection is sick, but I noticed they wasn't getting no recognition for it. There was a lot of guys talking down for it. And I was like, why are they talking down about shoes? It's just shoes. So I was like, you know what? Somebody got to be the bigger person. Somebody got to stand up for it. So what I'm going to do is every time I see a female posting some nice kicks, I'm going to repost her, and hopefully it passes along until she get that recognition. So I make that my duty every day, 365, to find every dope female out there, no matter if it's a GR or hype shoe, and repost her.
I love it. And you had our lovely Gabby Rosendahl on recently on an episode. Gabs, what fly kicks did you show off on that episode?
Well, so I will say shouts to you for having me on while I was traveling. I was in Vegas for Summer League, and I was like, should I check a bag? Should I not? I felt all the pressure, and I just copped a pair of the ambush dunks and that the Royal that I just beautiful. So I was like, I'm gonna wear the high tops, and then I'm gonna pack some lows because it's hot in Vegas. I like to rock lows. So, and I think like I went out to Urban Necessities while I was there, and I was like, maybe I'm gonna cop my beloved Wave Runners that are like that to me is like my baby that I'm gonna cradle and take care of when I finally get my hands on them. But I don't know. I just think like lows for the longest time got a bad rap. If it wasn't a Jordan, it wasn't hype, right? And so like it's a different time now. But that's why I was like, the women's. To your point, like women's stuff flew under the radar. There's like all this fly shit that was happening. So I brought a pair of my NFL women's NFL 50 exclusives, the Air Max 1, that were in that like gold foil and black leather. But I felt like those sat for a long time, and I was so surprised about it. But the way that sneaker culture has changed, and shouts to people like you who are giving us a platform that never really existed. So I know I've gone off on a tangent when you asked me what kicks I brought, but you'll have to tune into the episode to see every pair that I have.
See that, folks? That's called a tease right there. That's nice right. Job, Gabby. You're
Not
learning.
the first time I've been called that, Jarod.
Oh Lord, have mercy.
She did amazing. She did amazing. Yes. So I've always been posting women, and then this guy, because I was never into YouTube and that, then this guy named Dre Jungles hit me up and was like, "Hey man, like, you constantly keep posting these women every day. And it's not just any woman. I'm very particular. I will see the picture. I'll go to the profile. Make sure they're a sneakerhead and not just a model with some shoes. And then, I'll be posting everything. So he was like, I got a channel. I do reviews. I do this. I do that. You could use this platform to help you, and it'll also help me. We'll work hand in hand. So that's what I started doing. I started searching for women. And it's not easy. I mean, to be a complete stranger and somebody's DM like, hey, you want to come show
I was gonna say, and be a dude. So let me ask you about that, because this is the Kicks and Shit show. This is the and shit part. So I mean, you don't want to seem like you some thirsty dude just in her DMs trying to like holler, right? You're like, no, really? This is on some business stuff for real. Like, I got this show. We'd love to have you on. Have you had any trouble connecting that way?
Oh, yes, definitely. I've been turned down a lot. Some people I had to work like 2 and 3 months to get. Like Miss Nike, Miss Kika Doma.
Okay.
She was on Nike for a while. Miss Simply Kai from Toronto, Canada. She was in a couple magazines. I had to work with her for a couple months, kept being left on scene. Persistence is everything. Then you finally get that hit back and it's like touchdown. Then they come on, I will build maybe an extra 5 girls around them so they can help each other. 'Cause at first it was just a one-on-one thing. Then I was like, let me do it as a group because it's so much easier having somebody else just like you there supporting you. So we'll have a girl on and we have a thing called a 10 clip. They'll get 10 shoes and they'll just run it across the screen. They don't have to say nothing. They'll just boom, boom, boom. And me and Dre Jungle as my co-host will act as the crowd.
Okay.
Then when that woman's finished, she becomes the crowd. Now it's 3 people cheering on that person. Now it's 4 people cheering on, and it builds up their confidence and everything. And people just loved it. We've been on YouTube for maybe 5 months now, almost 3K subscribers.
Look at that, man. Look at that. That is...
I love it. You guys are serious hype guys too. Like, it was a vibe being on the show. Awesome.
Thank you.
No, that's dope, man, because it's organic and it's clearly you're building it out of love for sneakers and the community, right? Like, I mean, just think about it. This isn't like, all right, let me get you on because we're going to sell this. We're not selling nothing. We're just highlighting, but through that, you've been able to get partnerships, right, with other brands. So talk about how that's happened and what are some of the partnerships you work with now that are able to help you out with promoting what you do.
Oh man, it's crazy. Like I said, it's been happening so fast. First thing was, of course, segments was just women because the first key thing I noticed when I joined Dre Jungles was every YouTube channel, everybody's doing the same things. It's just reviews and early. Like Team Early, I got it early. But I never saw a channel that was just dominant women just taking over the show. The co-host just step back and let the women just go crazy. So I was like, yo, let's try it. Let's see what happens. Let's just pick a night and just go with it. We went with it. And then, of course, I mean, mostly guys was in the audience. But then women started coming because women was like, oh, I got that shoe too. People started coming out their shell. And that was the goal. Because a lot of women is like, I have a huge collection. I just don't feel confident coming on to show it because other guys have beat me down. Because there's guys that's like, she don't know what that shoe is. She don't deserve that shoe. Why she got a Union 4? Why she got that? And we start showing like these girls know they shoes. They know what they're talking about. And now they start gaining respect. Now they're getting followers. Now, that's the end goal for me is to try to be the Martin Luther King of the sneaker game. To end the dividedness and bring everybody together.
I like
so
it.
That's my whole goal with it.
And it's working well, right? I mean, you guys you're growing the consistency. That's the other part that people always want to know. They always say, "Oh man, how do you do X? How do you do Y?" But it's just like Heartbreak Kidd saying, like, you pick a night, and you consistent with it, so that people know. Oh, every Tuesday night, this thing. Yep, it's like a TV show. How you know? Because every Tuesday night it's 8:30. You know what you're gonna watch, right? Like it's on that channel, and that's how you build up the loyal following. And then when the women are starting to see the responses they're getting, it's word of mouth. They're like, oh, you got to check out the Heartbreak Kidd and Dre Jungles. They're doing this great thing, right? And then it's wildfire after that.
I also think too, what you guys do that I think is so great is that you speak to women in the right way, right? You're championing us, you're giving us a voice, because you hit the nail on the head where a lot of us are made to feel like our collection isn't good enough, or we don't know enough about something, or because it was a man's release. Now that we're in this culture of like women's launches, grade school, all this other stuff, like it's like, oh, well, she doesn't know about that. And like Jarod knows, when I was in Vegas in June, some guy comes up to me and goes, what do you know about those Royal ones? And I was like, well, what do you know about those Chicago threes? Like, you want to go at me? No, like, let's go. Let's fucking go. And he was like, all right, yeah.
No, the best story, Gabby, is the guy who, when you had on your original Yeezys, and he was like,
Oh,
Yo,
I'm gonna kill
what do he tried to buy them off you, right? For like super
Yeah, he was
cheap.
like, $1.25 for those shoes. I'll take them off your feet right now. And I was like, homie, my left foot isn't even worth 125. Like, come on. You acting like I don't know what I have on my feet. I know what I have. I just shouldn't have worn this shitty bar. Like that's what it is. That was my mistake. He's like, let me see, are they real? And I was like, don't test me. So. Are you real?
Are you real?
Yeah. See, I know it's never gonna happen overnight, and I'm just one guy, but one day I believe it's gonna click. One day. Yeah. I mean, I we just partnered up with this clothing company called Sneakerhead Clothing Line, which is nice and everything like that because they love what we're doing, how we're supporting women and everything. And we're slowly grabbing other people that's watching us because they're like, yo, this is weird. Like, I've been following you for a while, and all you keep doing is promoting women. You don't even have pictures of yourself on your page, but you have every girl that you're sharing on your page. And I'm like, yes, because I want this to be their stage. I don't want it to just be like, I had Gabby on the show, and now the show is over. I don't speak to Gabby no more. I still highlight her. I still repost her pictures. I want her to know that when she came on the show, it was genuine. I didn't want to, her to feel like it was being used. And I really like her content. I really like her shoes.
Oh, that makes sense.
And I love that. And I think the fact that you have repeat guests on, like, I love the way that you're like, all right, who's new to the show? You go first. Let's bring back some of our regulars. Like, to me, that's what it's about. It's about community. And I think you do that better than anyone else I've seen when it comes to like bringing the ladies together. That's why I was like, you know what? I'm traveling. Normally I'd be like out of office. Jarod, I think I was out of office for you. I'm just playing. We recorded Kicks and Shit that morning, but
I'm out of office.
But you know what I mean? Like, I think like the culture, there's so much backlash and people who don't know how to like build people up. And that's what it's about at the end of the day. It's a community, right? Like,
correct.
Let's support each other. And I love that you introduce people to new people. Like, I met people through your show. Like, that's what's super dope. Like, in the middle of a pandemic, I'm meeting sneakerheads through a show. Like, how wild and amazing is that?
But that is also the community.
I've actually had women contact me back and said, thank you for your show. Like, the other girl that was on the show with you, she lives a town over from me, and now we're cool. We're best friends. Now we go pick up shoes together.
See?
We talk. We help each other out. I might not hit on the shoe, but she might hit on the shoe. And I'm like, oh man, like that touches me right here because that's the whole goal, is to bring people together.
Building the community, man. This part, not the bots and the reselling. This right here is what the community is about. That right there, man. We appreciate what you're doing there. You mentioned Sneakerhead Clothing Line. I'm pretty sure, correct me if I'm wrong, they have a shirt. It's got a picture of Sade on it, and she's got something blacked out of her eyes or something, right?
That's one of the hottest ones. That's one of the hottest items.
I mean, it's Sade. I mean, who ain't trying to get a Sade shirt? I mean, come on. Let's. I'll say that for Gabby's Kicks and Shit After Dark. That's her show. She's trying to. All right, folks, stay tuned because coming up next we have America's favorite segment, Shoe and Tell, presented by Another Lane. And listen, I already know. I got a feeling the Heartbreak Kid's gonna have some serious heat, and he already said, "You may think you have this shoe, but you don't got this shoe." So we can't wait. Stay tuned. What's good, everybody? We are back, and you know what time it is. America's favorite segment, Shoe and Tell, presented by Another Lane. Listen, Chad and Adina Jones, husband and wife, co-founder, just been enjoying some time on Martha's Vineyard, luxuriating, relaxing themselves. But listen, you guys, you know if you're about community, as the Heartbreak Kid said, if you're trying to find those like rare things, you know where you can find some rare stuff? AnotherLane.com. They got all the dope shoes. Everybody got their collections uploaded. No seller fees, unlike some other sites, which we will not mention on this program. And they are about the community, just like our God, the Heartbreak Kid, is here, man. It ain't about, reselling everybody, like taking advantage of everybody. It's the reason that everybody fell in love with this stuff from the beginning, and that's why they do what they do. So make sure you guys head on over to AnotherLane.com. Now, listen, man, it's your show, so show us what you got. Tell them why they're important.
Okay. Let me start with I'm gonna start with overseas release, since I was talking about overseas straight from the beginning. This right here is a shoe that was banned in the US, released May 15th, I believe, but it was banned because it was admitting people to the hospital just by looking at it. People was getting migraines.
I think I know.
All types of things, and that is the TV Dunk Right here. It's a beautiful shoe. SB Dunk. It brings back the memories of back in the day when your TV would lose signal.
Yep.
And the color and everything will go across it. As it moves ever so slightly, when the sunlight hits it and everything, the color would shift. And people in the UK was complaining that they was getting migraines from it. So Nike killed the release in the US and it stayed in the UK. One of my faves right here.
Look at that, man. See? I bet y'all don't got that.
You have a plug in the UK?
Nah, I don't have a plug in the UK, but I do love GOAT. Shout out to GOAT.
He said, but I
have another one right here that's very creative. Also was banned in the US because you have to use fire to get to the second layer. There's 2 to 3 layers on it. And that right here is the Chinese New Year Dunk.
Yep.
Amazing shoe right here. 3 layers.
Yeah.
Underneath the first layer is covered in candle wax. And you have to use a lighter or a match or something to burn it. And this turns into a shadow colorway.
Look at that, man.
Look
at that. Look at those dunks, man. I'm liking the dunks.
We're going to keep the Dunk right here. Hit for retail. My carpet company. One of my favorites. Yes. Have yet to peel this baby also. As you can see, I'm a very crafty person. I'm going to switch over to something regular. But like I said, we might have the same shoe, but we don't have the same shoe.
I like this technique.
It's called the butterfly laces. They never cross to the other side.
I like that.
Yeah, so from one side, you think I'm rocking a purple lace. But on the other side, I'm not. Very dope, very dope.
Look at that, man. Look at that. By the way, that's not you haven't patented that, right? So somebody else can decide if they want to go butterfly. You cool.
I haven't patented it. It took me a while. It's very hard. It's 2 shoelaces in one shoe, but trust me, it get a lot of looks when I go out. A lot of looks.
Fire! I've never seen anything like that.
I like it.
We could switch to a GR real quick. The 97. Just do it. I rarely see people with this. Found this on the outlet.
I like that.
Beautiful shoe. Beautiful.
Those are some of the best finds, right? And we talked about this with Big Waz, right? Is that a true sneakerhead can go up to any store, and I like that you're like speaking about GRs because no one really talks about that, but they should talk about that more. Like that shoe is fire, and to me that's almost more satisfying when you find a shoe like that and you don't see people in it, right? Because people know, and then they're like, "Oh shit, that's fire! I should have caught that."
I love that. You do that, or you go and you ask, "Hey man, what do you have in the back?" Like like no, like what's back there? Just curious. That's not out here? What you got in the back?
Absolutely.
I got a new release right here. The multi-camos. Yes. Waiting for the fall. It's going to be very beautiful. Canvas material. I'm actually going to get the canvas a little dirty so it can give me a vintage vibe. Let it go sail.
I like that.
I love it. Everybody's talking about the new dunks. I want to pay homage to the original. Off-white dunk.
Look at those.
Yes, one of my favorites.
I like that colorway too.
That's nice.
Another attention to detail. I swapped both laces, so one side has the bungee running through it, and the other side has the regular lace running through it.
I see that.
Yeah, you might see me in public, but we're not the same.
I love that. That's like quote of the day. That's great.
Yeah, I mean. Just another butterfly.
I like that butterfly look.
One of my favorite releases that I felt like this should have gotten more hype than it did. I love this.
Oh yes, it's beautiful. Butterful. Yep. Yes, it's beautiful.
That's a dope shoe. Yeah, that's a.
You remember Jarod? That was one that I was like, I might have to.
I know.
I never was able to get the Travis Scott 4s. So I made my own little Travis Scott 4s by throwing black laces in the UNCs, make it pop a little bit.
Okay.
I've also stitched the patch so it don't flap the way Nike should have did it.
Yeah.
So it stays nice and flat and clean.
Look at that.
Yes.
The fours are a nice shoe. Like that, they're a good look.
Design. Oh, they're just gorgeous.
Yes. I definitely do love it. And another one that, of course, I'm attached to. That I don't think it's a lot of love either, and it's great quality, and that's the UNC to Chicago. I think it's very
women's launch
that's
too. Under the radar.
It's a women exclusive, and I'm not ashamed to wear it.
You should
not ashamed to wear it.
Beautiful shoe.
UNC to Chicago.
I like this way more than the Fearless, to be honest with you.
Mm-hmm.
The quality
I
is
like this
amazing.
more than the top 3 also.
Yes, that came out the year we met, Gabby, going to All Star that winter. That was
Happy Jordiversary.
happy short anniversary.
Another one, so we could leave kind of out of the Jordan and Dunk section right here. Ooh, the hot one.
Is that the hot ones, right?
The hot one.
I love that.
Turn the temperature up.
I like
turn
it.
it up.
Look at that.
Like flew under the radar, but
It
that
did.
was fire.
Yeah.
See, and I feel like you were able to copy these pretty easily, right? I feel like a lot of people weren't really trying to get them.
You still can. The Reebok experience for the question mids. Remember when I got the motors, right? The Motorsport. First of all, I'm gonna say this publicly. Lil Mama came at me for rocking my Reeboks instead of my Jordans, right? I mean, she had her Fly 4s, the powder blues that were nice. But I was like, you know what? Not everything has to be a Jordan, Lil Mama.
That's right.
Okay.
Not everything got to be a Jordan.
But the shopping experience with Reebok was fire, and I actually had a little defective pair, and they were able to exchange it. When can anyone ever say that about Nike?
I got another one right here. This one kind of don't really get that much love either. And this right here is the All-Star Dunk, the special edition. This one that's flat black, and this one right here has the texture.
Yep, the texture.
Yes.
Yep.
Yes, you know. But shout out to the NBA as you walk, the logo will change.
That's dope. Oh, I love that.
I like that.
Yeah, it's all about the detail for me. But, you know, that's just a little bit to show right here. I got to save some for later because I do hope I come back.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. No, listen, you've been a wonderful guest, man. Tell the people where they can find you.
Yes. You can find me at the Heartbreak Kidd, da.heartbreak.kid on Instagram. I've also, ladies, just created a new platform called Queens of Sneakers. Starting next month, it will be invite only. And once a month, I will do a free giveaway raffle. So the first 10 females to join my live, and I will be giving away Nike Jordans, Dunks, everything, any size, to the first 10 once a month. So it'll be like Sneakers app. I will do a post for it saying 10 a.m. this Saturday. First 10 names in there, I'll put you on the wheel, I'll spin, and I'll ship it to you for free.
I mean, ladies, I mean, what more do you? That's
I mean, 10 a.m. is early, but I'd wake up early for that. I would do that 100%.
Only ladies. I'm sorry, fellas. This is only for the ladies. My way of giving back.
Listen, man, we appreciate that, and that's wonderful what you're doing. We think it's great, and we will definitely have you back as a guest. And folks, that's been another fantastic episode of the Kicks and Shit Show. You know where to find us. We are part of that Count the Dinks family on the Bomb podcast feed. You can find us with the original Bomb Show, Crazy Sexy Cool, Grown Up the Same, Rap Names, us, Kicks and Shit Show. We are there. Make sure you're following the Bomb podcast feed, and you can get it on Apple, Spotify, Stitcher, SoundCloud, all the places you get your podcast for free. And of course, our YouTube channel. Make sure you subscribe. And we are at Kicks and Shit Show on all social media platforms. And until next time, peace.